When I was 17 years old, Halloween night in 1996 left me with a terrifying memory that still haunts me to this day. It was a cold, moonlit night, and my group of friends and I were determined to make it the most thrilling Halloween of our lives. In the small rural town where we lived, rumors of a haunted house at the edge of the woods had been circulating for years. The place had been abandoned for as long as anyone could remember, and the locals believed it to be cursed. It had become a sort of rite of passage for teenagers to dare each other to spend Halloween night in that ominous, decrepit house. That year, my group of friends and I decided it was time to take on the challenge. Armed with flashlights and exuding nervous laughter, we embarked on our journey into the unknown. The eerie feeling that something wasn't right washed over us as we approached the house. The porch steps creaked ominously under our feet, and the wooden front door groaned as we pushed it open. The house was a frozen tableau of decay. Dust, cobwebs, and broken furniture littered the rooms. The air was thick with the smell of time itself. Despite our bravado, unease set in as we wandered through the house. We explored each room, stepping gingerly over rotting floorboards and listening to the unsettling sounds that echoed through the abandoned structure. As we ventured deeper into the house, we discovered a locked basement door. Curiosity overcame our trepidation, and I, with trembling hands, managed to force it open. The stench that emerged from the basement was suffocating, a mix of mold and something far more sinister. Our flickering flashlight beams revealed a sight that would forever haunt my nightmares. In the corner of the basement, we found an old wooden chair, its restraints still intact, and tables strewn with rusty surgical instruments. Strange symbols and markings covered the basement walls. It was evident that something unspeakably sinister had occurred in this very place. We couldn't explain it, but we felt an overwhelming sense of dread and malevolence. As we decided to leave, the basement door slammed shut of its own accord. Panic swept over us as we frantically tried to force it open, but it remained sealed. We were trapped in the eerie basement of the accursed house. Desperation and fear washed over us as we heard sinister whispers growing louder. The temperature plummeted, and the walls seemed to close in. Hours passed like minutes as we huddled together, feeling an unseen presence lurking around us. Just when we had given up hope, the door creaked open, and we tumbled out into the main hallway, gasping for air. The house felt angrier, and the whispers became chorus, telling us to leave and never return. Without hesitation, we ran out into the cold night, leaving the malevolent house far behind. We never spoke of what we had seen or experienced that Halloween night, but the memory of that haunted house would forever be etched in my mind. To this day, I cannot explain the chilling horrors that unfolded, or who or what had been lurking in the basement. It was October 31, 2000, and I was an 18-year-old woman enjoying my last Halloween as a teenager. My friends and I decided to visit a remote pumpkin patch, nestled deep in the countryside. The place was rumored to be haunted, with a dark history of disappearances and strange occurrences that date back decades. As we arrived, the full moon cast an eerie glow over the pumpkin patch, making the gnarled tree and twisted vines appear even more sinister. We had a sense of unease, but brushed it off as a consequence of the chilling autumn breeze. We wandered through the rows of pumpkins, our flashlights revealing grotesque, grinning Jack. Oh, lanterns that seemed to leer at us. The air was thick with the scent of ripe pumpkins and something else, something unsettling. My friends and I laughed nervously, dismissing the unease we felt. As we ventured deeper into the patch, I noticed a particularly peculiar pumpkin. It was larger and darker than the others, and it seemed to pulsate with an unnatural energy. Drawn to it, I approached and touched its rough, uneven surface. At that moment, the pumpkin split open with a grotesque, wet squelching sound, revealing a hollow interior filled with writhing, dark tendrils. Panic surged through me, and I stumbled back, but it was too late. The tendrils lashed out, ensnaring my friends, who screamed in terror as they were dragged into the pulsating pumpkin, one by one. I tried to help them, but the tendrils were impossibly strong, and I was forced to watch in horror as they were devoured by the nightmarish fruit. When the last of them was consumed, the pumpkin sealed itself shut, leaving me alone and trembling in the moonlight. Terrified and grief-stricken, I fled the pumpkin patch and never looked back. The town authorities investigated, but no trace of my friends was ever found. To this day, I can't explain what happened that night. The ominous pumpkin patch remains a place of unspeakable horror, a sinister reminder that some Halloween legends are chillingly real.